who doesn't include an inheritance in the kingdom lying, even working with all other heathen nations of people. So you can never believe what another man says as far as um, the difference in complexion being the fact that one was confederate against that's complete garbage. One was confederate against the other because they're the Danites, who was not included in Revelation 7. So this guy here, he's like I said before, he even mentions the Hebrew Israelites and how um, he claims that these people aren't Hebrew Israelites. The fact that he even mentions a Hebrew Israelite should speak in volumes, because they're trying to do everything they can to cause confusion. But for certain, if you don't understand that there's a Negro Indian nation, this guy here could be either Gad or Dan, which is definitely part of something that I've been trying to push, is that you couldn't trust somebody that looks like this, because this guy could have actually came from a Negro Indian. And this guy could also be a Gadite, so you have no clue what they look like. That's why I said every single one of the 144,000 that do make it are going to do the knowledge themselves. They're going to understand the Dan tribe, the parables, the precepts, because if you don't understand the parable of the tares, that's part of understanding the doctrine of the Messiah. We have tares among us who are Negro, who look just like us in every single aspect in every single tribe. So I definitely, as I'm starting to come to a closure, an end of pushing some of the history and some of these lies that are being pushed into our Hebrew Israelite awakening, I'm going to start going into some deeper things, and some of this stuff is going to have to be researched on your own. If when certain people come with falsehood videos, that you'll be able to debunk them yourselves, because the ones that he's saying are Confederate.
Right. But you can see that they were darker, just like Benjamin Franklin had said that they were the son.
See, he sounds like he's a foreigner. Now these Indians here who could be Gad, this guy could be Gad, you can't tell. All you can do is go by what a man tells you. If a man tells you he's a Choctaw Chickasaw and he's black, he definitely couldn't be from Judah, because of the difference between Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. That's another thing that's not necessarily known to everyone in the Hebrew Israelite awakening, is the difference between Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. One is before Columbus and one is after Columbus. Simple. We came on slave ships, yoke of iron around our neck, brought here from the western coast of Africa, southern Africa, even the east and the west, both coasts of Africa. We was throughout Africa. These brothers were indigenous to America. Now, is it possible for a Northern Kingdom to have been mixed in with the Southern Kingdom at some point, or a Northern Kingdom had came over to the Americas at some point? It's possible. But as the Bible says, let God be true and every man be a liar. What we go by is the signs given to us by the Most High in our historical sacred texts that we know that we had possession of before we were brought into this oppression and brought into this falling away. Before our falling away, we was in possession of our history and our records. So what we can go by is by the Holy Scriptures. That's the only thing that we can go by as truth. So for certain, a lot of people are still confused of the difference between Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. Has everything to do with the 10 tribes carried away into another land, into Assyria, and came over to keep the commandments. The 10 tribes, that's the difference between Northern and Southern in identifying. Now, a Choctaw Negro who was brought here, who came here with the 10 tribes, can never be Judah, Levi, or Benjamin. You can never have an indigenous American, an indigenous nation from the West, indigenous to the Western Hemisphere, be the same as somebody who was brought here in slave ships. So that part in itself is so simple and basic, and many of our people are confused and are definitely not in line with the scriptures or in tune with the scriptures. Now, another thing is saying that all tribes are Negro. To say that in the Americas originated 10 Negro nations, because every single last one of these sons of Jacob are nations of people in our day, would be saying that you have 10 Negro nations as a matter of fact, 13 Negro nations in the Western Hemisphere today, which just isn't true. Now, I've read that in Hosea 7 that Ephraim hath mixed himself with the people. Jeremiah chapter 12 verse 9 also speaks on his heritage. It says here in Jeremiah 12 verse number 9, it says, "Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye assembly, all the beasts of the field come to devour." So his people are definitely of a speckled bird, meaning that we're all different types of colors. These people of the northern kingdom love the heathen. Just flat out, they love the heathen more than they love most of them. The sleep of our people love them more than the southern kingdom. I know this for certain, being half an Issacharite. My mother's an Issacharite, an Aztec, and they hate black folks. They hate black people and love the Edomites. They love Spaniards more than they love their own oppressed Negro brother. And I know this. I've experienced this. I've seen this in my own family. So for certain, these northern kingdomers have mingled themselves and mixed themselves with the people, and it has caused for somewhat of a lighter complexion, and as well mingled themselves with the people in the Assyrian captivity. So before they even got over here, many of them were already lighter in complexion. And on top of that, to say that some of them weren't already light before the Assyrian captivity is something that you can never prove. You can never say that we was at one point all just jet black. And some of us, for certain, had hair like this. We certainly had hair similar to this. So a woolly hair definitely doesn't make you Israel, and it does. And not having woolly hair definitely doesn't not make you Israel. Because some of these Negro Indians, they still got what they call good hair, which isn't really good hair. So I just want to make that clear that there's a lot of leasing, a lot of lies going out here about this so-called Aboriginal nation. Because there's no such thing as the first progenitor, unless you want to say Jacob, and Jacob wasn't indigenous to America. Jacob would be the Aboriginal progenitor of all these people, of the Negro Indians as well as these other tribes who if you go into some Cubans, Dominicans, some Seminoles, because they definitely mixed in with some of Judah, you're going to find some Negroid dark-skinned people, for certain. But the part that I'm stressing to brothers is you can never, ever identify truly your enemy completely among you, because as I've said, we have an enemy among us who is lying extensively in every single way and working with the heathen. I just wanted to address this video a little bit because I wouldn't say upset me, but it's for certain something that needs to be addressed, is the fact that there is so many lies out here. And our people should already know that. There's so many lies when dealing with this nation of people who they're calling the original Americans. And as I've said before, a lot of it stems from Second Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, which says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. That day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." So that day shall not come until the son of perdition be revealed. The same people that they're hiding and calling different nations and saying that this nation was confederate against the different, so they're lying about the son of perdition on every level possible, because that day does not come until the son of perdition be revealed, that man of sin. And as I've continued to say, over and over that the Choctaw, Chickasaws, and the Negro Indians are the son of perdition. The same ones who are the Black Boule, the same ones who have been set up to down any kind of resistance to the government, any kind of movements. Our civil rights movements have been set up by the native Negro Indians. They've been doing everything they can to keep our revolt from falling. When we was in a time of revolt during the 60s, the 50s, during the Black Panther movements, they would set up these Negro Indians and teach you to be peaceful with Christianity. And in our day now, they have set these Negro Indians up for our people to rebel. They have actually set up our people up to revolt now. Now these Negroes are starting to push a resistance so that we can die for real. We have no might in our hands and no power whatsoever. So now, as before they were set up to down our revolt, they've been set up to start a revolt, which is where you're getting your Black Lives Matter. You're getting also, I believe, Kaepernick is one of these Negro Indians mixed with Edomite. So they're setting people up to be the voice of a revolt, because now they're ready to start slaughtering us. The awakening has happened. Negroes are waking up to the Israelite, to the fact that they're the Hebrew Israelites and keeping the commandments. So they're ready to start offing our people. So as I said before, what they're doing is going to keep our people in sin as much as possible until it's time for them to start offing our people. When they start offing our people, there's going to be so many Hebrews who already believe that they're in the truth because they've been manipulated by these Negroes, that they're not going to make it. And it says that in Isaiah 59, he that goeth there in these crooked paths, they're not going to know peace. It's not going to be no peace for a brother who is in sin. When the Most High Son says, depart from me, you worker of iniquity, and you thought you've been casting out devils, and you've been down in these religions because you know you are Israelite under the commandments, but haven't really been keeping the commandments. That's going to be a sad day for so many people, so many brothers who have dedicated themselves to certain camps, certain groups that just aren't teaching the whole truth. They got you in just a little bit of sin, a little bit of iniquity somewhere, and they have convinced our people that it's okay. All of us are going to make it just because we know we're the Israelites under the commandments, and that is not true. So with that, brothers and sisters, I want to continue to push the fact that we need to study our own scripture. We got to study our own history, our own scriptures. You got to know a lot of these things. These things are definitely important. So I want to give all the praise to the Most High and His Son if you're watching this video.